世间所有的相遇，都是久别重逢。
Yeah. Welcome, family, to Omniversity Time. Temple of Omniversal Wisdom. I'ma name this one here 144,000 War Preparation, Part 1. It's a series of spiritual teachings that will help you advance in your spiritual journey. This will be the key to unlock the powers of your soul and shed the egoic mask. This will give you an even playing field within the spiritual battle that we face. 144,000, stand up. I am he who have returned.
Mordecai Pt.1.
Prophecy speaks. Peace, family. Welcome to the 144,000 War Preparation, Part 1. Okay, now, in this lesson, we're going to go over various factors of just the point of knowing thyself and what does that consist of, what are we? To know thyself is like the highest knowledge, in the universe, right? So it's to know your nature, the knowledge of thyself is to know one's own nature, just as an anagram for man means master all natures. So that's the essential point in knowing thyself is to master all natures, to master your nature in its full totality. Right. So we're gonna start this off with the first cosmic law, the first universal law, which would be the law of mentalism, the mind, the primordial mind. Right. So let's read into what the primordial mind is. The concept of the primordial mind in spiritual and philosophical traditions refers to a state of pure unconditioned awareness or consciousness that is often viewed as the source of all existence. You understand that? So it's a state of pure unconditioned awareness or consciousness that is often viewed as the source of all existence, the primordial mind. In Tibetan Buddhism, the primordial mind is described as the basic ground of reality, a state of unconditioned awareness that exists beyond time, space, and individuality. It is referred to as deathless awareness or the luminous mind, embodying eternal purity and intrinsic joy. This state precedes all dualities, including subject and object, and represents the original, unaltered nature of consciousness. You see? So this state precedes all dualities, which means all dualities exist within it as one. There is no separation in the primordial mind. There is no gender separation in the primordial mind. You understand? Okay, 2. Non-dual traditions. In non-duality, the primordial mind is seen as the fundamental consciousness that manifests the universe. It is not separate from what it creates. Rather, all forms of phenomena are expressions or illusions within this singular consciousness. This perspective dissolves distinctions between subject and object, suggesting that what we perceive as reality is a projection of this universal mind. So everything you perceive is a projection of this primordial mind, object and subject. Right? So let's move on to 3, creation myths. Many creation myths describe a primordial state, chaos, cosmic egg from which order and form emerge. In these contexts, the primordial mind may be equated with a divine intelligence or essence that shapes undifferentiated matter into structured existence, right? So overstand that. Philosophical implications. The primordial mind represents eternal potentiality. Let me say that again. The primordial mind represents eternal potentiality, the source from which both spirit and matter arises. So spirit and matter arises from out of the primordial mind. It challenges dualistic thinking by positing that consciousness is not a byproduct of matter, but its origin in essence. You hear that? That consciousness, mind, is not a byproduct of matter, but its origin in essence. Right? So, in its totality, in summary, this is what it's saying. The primordial mind symbolizes the ultimate reality or source of existence and unchanging luminous awareness from which all forms emerge. All forms emerge from the primordial mind. It serves as a central concept in many mystical and philosophical traditions seeking to understand the nature of being. Right? Now let's take a look at the key word that they used in this last sentence, which is concept, right? In primordial mind, where nothing is there's no difference between nothing, which means there's no duality, which means everything is one, right? When you take a look at concepts, you will realize that a concept is literally a bridge of alignment that bridges the gap between the spiritual and the physical realm, right? So higher concepts help you bridge the gap of separation from source, from primordial mind, right? So overstanding spiritual and higher dimensional concepts bridges the gap between the spiritual realm and the physical realm, between you and source, right? Right. These concepts help you understand that in primordial mind, there is no separation. Ultimately, separation is the illusion. Ultimately, there is no separation. Okay, so we moving on to the law of vibration. Okay. Now, we started with the primordial mind. Now we'll move to primordial sound, as this ties into the law of vibration, the second universal law. So let's step deep into the knowledge of knowing thyself. Now the question will be, what is sound? What is primordial sound? In Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and Sikh traditions, Om, also known as Om or Omkara, is considered the primordial sound from which the universe originated, representing the ultimate reality and the source of all existence. Here's a more detailed explanation. Primordial sound. Om is regarded as the fundamental vibration of the universe, the sound that preceded all other sounds and from which all things manifested. So you understand that Om is regarded as the fundamental vibration of the universe. It's the sound that preceded all other sounds. So all other sounds manifest from the Om, the original sound, right? In Hinduism, Om is a sacred syllable and mantra representing Brahman, the ultimate reality, consciousness, or Atman. It is often chanted at the beginning and end of Vedic chants and mantras. The three sounds, A, U, M, are believed to represent the past, present, and future, or the three states of consciousness, wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. Om is also seen as a symbol of the trinity of the three major gods: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the preserver; and Shiva, the destroyer. Om is considered a universal sound, the seed of all words, without reference to any specific religion or god. Om is also sacred sound in Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Okay, now moving on. The primordial sound Om is considered the original vibration of the universe from which all creation emerged. Rooted in Hindu philosophy and the Upanishads, it represents the essence of existence and is often described as the sound of creation itself. Om consists of three components. A, which symbolizes the waking state and creation. U represents the dream state and preservation. M signifies deep sleep and dissolution. The silence following Om reflects Turiya, a state of pure consciousness beyond these three. Chanting Om is believed to align individual consciousness with universal energy, promoting tranquility, spiritual awakening, and unity with the cosmos. The primordial sound Om is conceptually aligned with the primordial mind, as both represent the essence of universal consciousness and the foundation of existence. Om, often referred to as the vibration of creation, symbolizes the interconnectedness of all things and the unity of body, mind, and spirit. It is seen as a bridge to access higher states of awareness and align with the ultimate reality of Turiya, pure consciousness beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states. Chanting Om harmonizes the mind with the universal vibrations, fostering clarity and stillness. This alignment helps transcend individual thought patterns, enabling practitioners to experience a state of thoughtfulness awareness where they connect with the infinitive creative force of the universe, often equated with the primordial mind. Okay? So understand that right now. Understand that right there. Moving on. The primordial sound Om is deeply intertwined with the concept of the primordial mind, which is often understood as the ultimate consciousness or creative force behind existence. In Hindu philosophy, Om is considered Nada Brahma, the sound of the creator, and it represents the vibration from which the universe emanated. It encapsulates all aspects of creation, past, present, and future, as well as different states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and pure awareness. The primordial mind, as the source of all creation, is believed to have manifested Om as its first expression. You understand that? So the Om was the first expression of the primordial mind, an audible vibration symbolizing the act of creation itself. Om is thus both a product of the primordial mind and a reflection of its essence. You understand? So this, what is essence? Essence is spirit. Chanting Om aligns one's internal vibrations with this universal consciousness, connecting individuals to their true self and the infinite creative force. So the Om is literally the spirit. Now we're going to go deeper into this. The syllable Om or Om is regarded as the direct manifestation of spirit because it encapsulates the essence of creation, consciousness, and ultimate reality. It is considered the primordial vibration from which the universe emerged, symbolizing the connection between sound, energy, and divine presence, spirit. You understand? So this is what spirit is. Spiritual significance of Om, primordial sound. Om is described in Hindu philosophy as the original vibration of the universe, aligning with the concept that all existence originates from a single creative force. It represents cosmic energy and the infinite presence of spirit. Om unifies all aspects of existence, creation, preservation, and dissolution, which correspond to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the threefold nature, you know? These three sounds reflect the cyclical nature of life and the divine's multifaceted nature. Meditative power. Chanting Om aligns one's frequency with universal vibrations, fostering spiritual elevation and self-realization. It is said to help transcend material limitations and connect with higher consciousness, samadhi. Manifestation of Brahma. The Upanishads describe Om as both the material and immaterial forms of Brahman, the ultimate reality. It symbolizes Atman, self, and serves as a tool for mediating on the unity between individual consciousness and universal spirit. Om is spirit's manifestation. Om represents spirit in action. You understand? So the Om represents the spirit in action, the vibration that animates existence. It is not merely a sound, but a metaphysical principle embodying divine essence. Chanting Om allows individuals to experience this vibration within themselves, bridging the gap between their inner self and universal spirit. As such, Om is both the origin and expression of spirit, embodying its creative power and eternal presence. Right? So, this is what the law of vibration is. If the law of vibration originates from the primordial mind and spirit, right? As some metaphysical traditions suggest, it could imply that vibration and spirit are deeply interconnected. In ancient Kemet, vibration was considered a fundamental force of creation, with all manifestations, physical, mental, and spiritual, arising from varying vibratory states. The Kemetic understanding taught that increasing vibrational frequency could elevate consciousness to higher spiritual realms, ultimately reconnecting with the all, or absolute spirit. Thus, vibration can be seen as a manifestation or expression of spirit, acting as the mechanism through which spirit animates and interacts with the material and immaterial worlds. This perspective aligns with the idea that everything in existence vibrates and that these vibrations link the physical to the spiritual. Right? So, vibration can be seen as a manifestation or expression of spirit. Right? What is expression? What is expression? To express ions. You understand? So we know that English is a spell language, right? So we're literally speaking in spells. Expression means to express ions, right? What is an ion? So now you have to ask yourself, what is an ion? This is how you pierce through the veil, of illusions. This is the power of the third eye. It dissolves all illusions. That's what it does. That's what the third eye does. So what is expression? Okay, so now we're moving on. Expression. So yes, in a deeper linguistic and metaphysical sense, the word expression can be interpreted as to express ions if we break it down. Express, to bring something out, to manifest, or to make visible. Ions, charged particles that carry energy and are fundamental to the structure of matter and life. From this perspective, expression could symbolize the act of manifesting energy or vibrations into a tangible or perceivable form. So now we see that vibrations and ions are now interchangeable. This aligns with metaphysical ideas that everything in existence is a vibratory expression of energy, right? Whether physical, mental, or spiritual. Ions themselves are carriers of energy, facilitating processes like electrical conductivity in matter and biological functions in living beings. In a philosophical sense, this interpretation ties into the idea that all creation is an expression of the divine or universal energy, or spirit, manifesting itself through vibrations or ions into the material world. It suggests that expression is not just communication, but an energetic transformation or manifestation at its core. You understand? So that's what expression is. And a part of being your authentic self is expressing yourself, is expressing who you truly are, your true nature as a cosmic primordial being. You understand? Now let's move on. What is an ion? An ion is an atom or molecule with a net electrical charge. Just like you have an electrical charge. Okay? You are an electrically charged being. You're not separate from nature. Everything that exists within nature exists within you. So let's move on. An ion is an atom or molecule that carries a positive or negative electrical charge due to the loss or gain of electrons. Positively charged ions are called cations, while negatively charged ones are anions. Ions play key roles in forming ionic compounds, conducting electricity, and enabling biological processes like nutrient transport. The term ion originates from the Greek word ion, going, derived from to go. Michael Faraday introduced the term in 1834 to describe charged species moving between electrodes during electrolysis. Related terms like anion going up and cation going down reflect their movement toward oppositely charged electrodes. Okay, so this is what ions are. So this is the same process that's happening in the beginning, primordial creation. You understand? Because this is a ongoing process that's constantly happening over and over again. You're not separate from creation. There is no separation. You are primary creation expressing itself in physicality, right? Because the primordial mind is what created all things. All things stems from the primordial mind, the all, the absolute, you know? And previously, before creation, I'm talking about before, existence, before light, there were just chaos. But inside of that chaos were conditions, elemental conditions that which eventually formed, material, it formed the matter. So you're still a part of them, of that same ancient, primordial elements that literally created you. You're a walking primary creation that's expressing itself, evolve and grow in physicality. That's what's happening. That's what we're primordial beings. That's what we are. Overstand. So now moving on to Kemet, we're gonna start with the old dog, the primordial beings, and see what Kemet said about the primordials.